Hi guys, my name is Sviatoslav. Welcome to my YouTube channel.
I wanna be with you forever. You're perfect. You're perfect. I wanna be with you forever. You're perfect. You're perfect.
Today I will tell you how I almost go into the US consulates. The story of my move to the United States began back in 2015. When I was in the second year of my university. It was October, the sun was shining, in fact, it was a perfect day. I was standing on the street near the hostel and I came up with the idea to go to France on an exchange program. I told my friend Masha about this idea. Masha said yes. Let's do it, why not? We started looking for information on the internet and came across exchange program in the French-speaking province of Canada, Quebec. We continued to search for information and found a program for work and travel for students in the USA. Masha and I caught fire with this idea, and we had a dream about going to America. When we found out that under this program you need to know English very well and they have a job offer, we realized that we would not be able to participate in this program right now because we don't have knowledge of English, and then we decided that first we need to go to the USA as tourists. See the country, learn the language. We didn't know where to start for a long time. In the end, we started with saving money for a trip. Spoiler, it was necessary to start with paying in the consulate fee and obtain a visa. You can save money and learn English after getting a visa in your passport. Masha and I worked for a long time. I worked as a bartender in Moscow at night because I was still studying in the institute and I couldn't go to an office job. And finally, in March 2018, I paid our consulate fee and found out that 3 days ago, the diplomats of Russia and the United States diverged in the interests. There was a mutual deportation of diplomats from Russia and the United States, and now it's impossible to immediately schedule an interview since there are not enough employees, and you either have to wait months for an appointment in the United States Embassy in Moscow or go abroad and be interviewed the US Embassy in another country. But I have already paid the consular fee in Russia and they cannot be transferred to another country. At the time, I was very upset and decided to try my luck and try to register in Russia. And luck smiled at me. In September 2018, I was able to make an appointment for an interview in the US consulate in Vladivostok at the end of October. Then it seemed to me that I was the happiest person in the world. Almost in Italy, Masha and I didn't plan to go so far for a visa. So said, you understand, Vladivostok is located in a completely different part of Russia. The flight to Vladivostok takes 8 hours and the train ride generally takes 1 week. But when we already had an appointment for an interview, we were glad to see such an interesting region of Russia. We flew across Russia to get the coveted tourist visa. By the way, the trip to Vladivostok was very cool and exciting. I feel in love with Russia, Far East and the city of Vladivostok. I especially liked Russian island and what views open from the top of the island. There were tasty seafood and pastries in the Far East, and also due to the fact that China, Japan, and Korea are not far away. There are many very interesting Asian restaurants and markets in the city. In Vladivostok, we met several interesting people. There were a researcher who was then studying at the graduation school of the Far Eastern University, and a successful businessman who did several profitable businessmen in the city. By the way, the businessman gave us two incredibly cool excursions around the city. He showed us places that only locals know about. And without him, we hardly ever visited such a place. I discovered a very cool region of Russia with cool people, delicious food and fairy tale nature. If you are in Russia, Vladivostok is my big recommendation to you. In general, let's get back to getting a visa. On the third day of our trip, Masha and I went to the US consulate. But the night before the interview, Masha and I had a big fight. And on the day of the interview, we were very late because we overslept and our taxi go into traffic. As a result, we arrived on time a little more and we would have missed the interview. You can be late for a minute and the consulate, otherwise your meeting will be cancelled. And then our trip would only be of an entertainment nature. But to our great luck, the visas were approved for us that day, despite the fact that there were three refusals in front of us, and after us there were also refusals. When I got the approval, I ran out the consulate, forgetting my card there. It was my second very happy day on the way to my American dream. If you want to hear the story of how we were interviewed for a visa, write about it in the comments, and I will definitely make a video about it. A year after we got our visa, Masha and I flew on vacation to New York. And then we also saw Boston, Rockport and Salem. And after that we also made a small trip across Europe, which was also not without excesses. But we'll talk about this some other time. When we returned to Moscow, I was personally very glad that I was home again. To be honest, I didn't like the first time in the USA, because the structure of cities is strange for Europeans, the food seemed tasteless and unreasonably expensive, and America is old and not advanced. Everyone seemed somehow big and uncomfortable for people. I didn't like that New York is a very dirty and sometimes not well grown city. that is subway is terribly slow, it's dirty and hot in the station, and there are a lot of homeless people on train and station. I didn't understand why ordinary US cities are not designed to walk through them of food, as if the USA you can only travel by car with comfort. I was horrified by the house and apartment in the which some Americans live, and that there is much less aesthetics in the USA than in European countries or in Moscow and St. Petersburg, for example. But after half a year, I began to miss the freedom of thoughts and the possibility of self-expression, how different people and cultures intersect here. I really liked the mix of everything I saw in New York, and this is much more important than door some household appliances and homeless people. Indeed, it was in New York that I saw for the first time that you can want and not be afraid of judgments and prejudices. It seems to me that this in the trick of the USA, everyone can be who he is or wants to be. And how much I began to miss New York, the coronavirus pandemic began and it was absolutely impossible to go somewhere. Russia also showed its complete failure during the pandemic. I watched how Europe, the US and other countries support the citizen and watched how they do it in Russia and was completely disappointed with the government of my country. In Russia, they didn't support people without children who lost their job and could not find a new one because of the coronavirus. Small business were dying and no one cared about it. It shocked me. Then I confidently decided that I would move to the USA. I started looking for ways to move, but I thought that after all, before such a step as immigration, I would like to look at the USA again and make sure. But do I really want this? I went on vacation in September 2021 to New York. As you understand, I haven't returned from this vacation. There were several reasons for this, not of all of these reasons. Of course, are kind and rosy. But now I'm here and I'm very happy about it. I love New York very much. Miami is also very sympathetic to me. I want to see California, Alaska, Hawaii and other cool places in North America. They are all for today. Don't forget to write your comments, give big thumb up to this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell so as not to miss any new videos. Have a good day, bye bye.